this at home.
Made an awful racket.
This is a series that we're running this month. Things not to do as a 14-year-old.
Things not to do.
Okay, well, my editorial today is a little bit about something like that. My dad gave me an article not too long ago from Sports Illustrated about Junior Seau. And just briefly, folks, when you read this thing, it's pretty sad. You got a 43-year-old guy on top of life. He had, I don't know, 12 or 13, not Super Bowl, but he went to, he was to the top of the league, whatever they call that thing, where they have the first-rated teams and they go to play in Hawaii and all that stuff. I forgot what you call that. Well, anyways, the point. What? The Pro Bowl. That's right. He had like 12 titles. Well, anyways, the point I'm making is this is sort of like the Father's Day theme, and it's just not for fathers, but I'm going to concentrate on dads. Dads, so many of us push our kids into sports, all right, and we get them so enthused about it that we forget about safety, all right, and this article really was about that. Junior is a third person recently that took his life that they really truly believe was connected to something called CTE, and I'm going to try to say this slowly: chronic traumatic encephalopathy, which basically means getting hit to the head a lot, and concussions. And we always tell the kids to suck it up, don't worry, shake it off, whatever. Well, this is a condition, much like traumatic brain injury that we're seeing from the troops when they come back from Iraq or Afghanistan. This is a condition that over time can really be debilitating, and it's sneaky because it comes up on you and it causes a lot of depression and a lot of issues. So let's work really hard, dads, when we encourage our sons and daughters to go into contact sports. Make sure that the coach is doing their job, not like Greg Williams down in New Orleans that's paying bounties for people to hurt other people. Let's keep the sport civil, businesslike, and professional, and encourage our kids to grow up safe and healthy. Happy Father's Day. Back to you, Reed.
Right. Well, on the aside, beyond that, John, I want to, after all, football is a violent sport. Mm-hmm. There's no question about it. And to actually, I guess he was giving them a bounty for injuring a player badly enough to get him out of the game. Right. And that is probably, I don't think it's as uncommon as you might think in the football world, but they nailed him good because he put it in writing, I guess. We have with us a special guest. We have with us, she shows up regularly on our show, and she tells us a little bit about birding and what's going on in the world of birding, and a lot of things have changed. Now, I want to say, first of all, her name is Ruthlundine. Like Stan Lundeen, I might add, but you're not related to him in any way, though. No, he has an E on the end of his name. One of the things that I did want to mention is Ruth is very well known for doing various activities in the world of birdwatching. And birdwatching is a wonderful sport, if you can call it that. All you need is a pair of binoculars, and you sometimes lure birds right up to your house. And I had a bird who used to come up into my porch and take breadcrumbs. A very, very tame little guy. We have a lot of bird watchers in this county because we have a lot of birds. And it's a beautiful area because it has such a various mix of birds. We have water birds, for instance. You have all the seagulls and various kinds. You know, there's seagulls and seagulls. They're different seagulls. You'll see a bunch of them say, oh, they're all seagulls. They're different kinds. And you have to get to know them a little bit. It's a wonderful sport, as I said, and you feed the birds. They'll come to your house, and hummingbirds even will come humming up. And if you put a hummingbird, the red one, they love, for some reason, hummingbirds like red. It's just the opposite of bulls. Okay, well, welcome aboard, Ruth. First of all, give us a little background. Where are you from originally?
I'm originally from the Chicago area, from a little town, Homewood, Illinois, just outside of Chicago, where I grew up with my family, watching birds out of our windows. And as you say, I think that's one of the most wonderful ways and a very relaxing activity that almost everybody can participate in.
Yeah, well, I want to say hats off to a former friend who showed up regularly. He's still a friend. He's still doing fine. His name is Dick Miga. And Dick founded a bird count system whereby you just call a number, say, you know, I just saw a red-crested songbird of some kind, and I think it was a house wren, which does have a little red crest, right?
The house wren has he has a little top, yes.
Little tassel there. And he's been a real pioneer in bird watching and birds and so forth, and quite a guy. He used to write an article for the Dunkirk Observer, as a matter of fact, on nature in general. So hats off to you, Dick Miga, and I hope things are going happily with you. Now, Ruth, whatever got you into the society, the Audubon Society down in Jamestown? You were quite active there, I know that.
I very much enjoy the natural world, and I love kids, and to me it was very important to share that love and also to work with education so that we can share the passion for nature with kids and adults, people of all ages. So that was really my decision then to go into Nature Center administration because it wasn't my background, but it was certainly something I loved to do and wanted to share with as many people as possible.
What is your role down there now?
I am the president of Audubon.
Okay, and you do a lot of education, is it right?
We do. We do a lot of education. We see, right now we're seeing children from school districts all over the county and from, of course, Pennsylvania, the Warren area also. And, but also on weekends we have very active programming. We are having a nature photography program this weekend that is filled to capacity for anyone who wants to learn more about how to photograph nature. We have bird banding, which is an amazing opportunity both to expand our knowledge of birds and also for people to see birds actually in the hand.
A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush, right?
It certainly is.
Well, now, so bird watching per se is not just about birds. It's about getting out into the woods and the fields and nature and being in contact. It's about gardens. It's about flowers and all kinds of things that are that do attract birds.
Yes.
And you have to. You brought up the banding now. Bird banding, I guess it tells you where it tracks them, right? It's a way to track them?
It is. It is a way that you can look at the any bird that has been banded, then if it is either recaptured in another mist net or if it dies and someone finds it, then we learn about the bird. And we have, in fact, at Audubon we have a tradition at Audubon about doing bird banding. And over the years, sometimes we get the same bird back year after year. And of course, many birds, songbirds especially, don't live past the first year, but we have had birds back even to 4 years in a row.
Oh, really? So birds do last a while.
The ones that are crafty enough to make it past the first year have a fighting chance to make it 3 or 4.
3 or 4 years, Turkeys, they're big birds. How long do they live? They must live.
I think, I don't know the statistic, but I think that in general, as the size increases, the birds do live longer.
Yeah, I saw some turkeys yesterday. They're just there's an abundance of turkeys in Chautauqua County. And of course they were reintroduced, I'll say, because they originally were here, then they were all disappeared, they wiped out. When I was a kid, there was no such thing as turkeys. We hunted pheasants, which are now all gone because pheasants were basically stocked by the Fish and Game clubs. They'd let them loose, and in the fall, and the hunters would pick off a bunch of them, and they nest right on the ground, and so they're easy prey for everything, and everything likes little pheasants and pheasant eggs, including raccoons, possums, wild cats, crows, and you know what the greatest enemy of birds is? Chipmunks.
Chipmunks?
Yeah. Chipmunks can climb right up to the nest, and in a wink they can snatch all the youngins and eat them right out, or gulp them down, and they snap up all the eggs, and then they're gone. And they catch more birds, kill more birds than any other critter. So just like, the most dangerous animal in the United States kills more people. You think the grizzly bears, it's the deer. Accidents.
Yes,
Car accidents.
car accidents.
All right, enough of the petty stuff here. Now, when you're down there banding birds, how do you catch the birds? You said something about a net?
Yes, there is a very fine weave net that we use. It's called a mist net. That's how fine the threads are. That the birds then don't see it as they're flying through, going from one tree to another, one bush to another, and they will get captured in the net. And when we're banding, we have people there almost constantly to check the net so they can get the birds out of the net, and then we bring them to a central banding station. This is research. So then we measure them and we weigh them and find out if they, for instance, have a brood patch, which would say that they have a nest. All this is recorded. The number, then a little bracelet of a band is put on their leg. It's aluminum, it's very light, and they are released. This gives us the opportunity, as I said, that if that bird is recaptured, we learn about it and we can know what's going on.
Does this hurt the bird when they band it?
No, it's every effort is made to first of all, to minimize the stress on the bird, and then also to be as gentle as possible, because oh my goodness, they are so small and frail.
Yes, right, and delicate. I'm sure the bands are very light and small.
Yes.
You mentioned the brood patch. What's that mean?
The brood patch is a place on the bird's, the female stomach where there's no feathers, and so that's an indication that way the heat gets to the eggs. And it shows that the bird is actually sitting on the nest.
I see. And then after you do recatch them occasionally, you check the bands. They might find one in South Carolina, then you know where the bird came from and went to. And if they were died, they pick them up under windmills. Are you concerned about the birds and the windmills?
I think this is something that is an active issue that birders we talk about, because like everything, there's two sides to every story. The stand of the National Audubon is that these wind turbines should be positioned in areas that are not important bird areas, or where there's not important migration or bird populations. And there are now, and just have come out in the last few months, good regulations about how to measure that. But of course, wind energy being cleaner than the coal and oil, so it's a balancing that we need to, as a society, decide where's the middle ground.
They evidently they do bat down a few birds. As a matter of fact, there was a law passed not too long ago making it illegal to count the birds underneath one of these windmills. God knows why, but I guess windmill people paid off the legislature or something to pass this law so people wouldn't know how many birds are being killed.
I hadn't heard that.
Well, I think it was retracted or something. But at any rate, Ruth Lundine is with us, and we have a couple of calls. You want to take a call?
Certainly.
Let's take a call. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Reed. Good morning to your guest.
Okay, well, thank you for waiting.
I'm a bird enthusiast, just like yourselves, and I was curious if you could shed some light on a particular bird that's kind of elusive to me from time to time, is the indigo bunting. It just seems like it shows up for a couple days, and then it's gone.
Yes, the indigo bunting is a bird that nests in this area. They it sounds like my experience with them is similar to yours. I will see them at my feeder once or twice in the spring as they're migrating through. Then I don't see them again around the house. But they nest on what we call at the edges. So at the edge of a field where it goes into a wooded area, that's where the indigo buntings love to go. And it's easiest to hear them. And they have a song that repeats. And the way I remember it is they go a beautiful melody, dee 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 dee, blah blah dee dee. So there's always a little burr. The third little phrase is one that's